Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 155 of your favourite Formula 1 show. Yes, Knowing Wheel returns once again. We're still in the depths of the winter break, but today we're going to start spicing it up with our pre-reveals 2024 predictions. Yes, we usually do this every year before the cars get revealed, and that way we can laugh at each other for when we get things wildly wrong. But of course, who will I be laughing at? It could be no other than Jamie183. How are we doing, my guy?
I'm good. I'm excited to see what gets thrown against the wall this episode and sees what sticks and what doesn't stick come December next year, or this year, I suppose now. But yeah, I think there was one year, 2021, I believe it was, when you put Williams in 5th place. If I remember rightly.
Probably 2022, I reckon, but maybe.
And they finished 9th or 8th, maybe.
Yep.
So that was good. They were pretty much a backmarker that season. So if we get something like that, that'll be quite impressive.
Yeah.
But here we are. And we'll do a proper one of these closer after testing where we can suddenly cheat and use all the testing times. This is really stabbing in the dark and see what happens.
Exactly. This is kind of more for the clips, for the fun, and to look back on at the end of the year, and people can tell us if we in fact don't know wheel. Before we get to that, though, we have got one real news story this week, don't we, Jamie? It looks...
2. I just remembered one of them.
2? Go on, talk me through the other one then.
Well, we forgot to mention about an hour after the podcast went up last week that McLaren just dry launched their livery with no build-up at all. So that's fresh. It's very similar to last year, but with less blue. A bit nicer.
Which is good.
And yeah, I think it's all right. What about you?
I mean, of course, for those of you that are new to the show, just remember that once this podcast does go live, be ready on Twitter less than an hour later, because that's always what happens. Things just get revealed. Yeah, like you said, I think it's a better livery. I mean, we spoke about this last week, don't we? Livery reveals are always a bit naff. Because obviously we want to see what the cars look like, but McLaren obviously will reveal that in due course. But yeah, I think McLaren already had a decent livery. They definitely made it better. I'm not going to miss the blue, but you know, I think orange and black. I mean, really, I'm sure you can agree with me with this. They either should bring back West, which I don't think they can because I believe were they cigarettes?
I think they were tobacco, so you can't do that anymore.
Or Vodafone, which is not cigarettes, and they should bring back those cars.
Yes, but trying to get title sponsors on board on the basis of directing delivery is not really the way things happen in business. So, yeah,
not working too badly for Williams and Golf.
It's true. It is true. And they could also do the thing where, they could just hide the fact that it's a tobacco sponsorship and name it a different brand, like a Better Tomorrow, which is a hidden cigarette company. But there you go. Maybe the FIA will clamp down on it at some point. Probably not. But yeah, I think it's a good livery. But it's not like groundbreaking, obviously. But then livery reveals never are. So.
No, exactly. Other kind of bigger news then. Of course, looks like AlphaTauri might not be known as AlphaTauri anymore, which we spoke about a lot last year, and then it kind of wasn't happening, and then it was happening, and then it wasn't happening, and Hugo Boss were going to do it, and then Adidas, and then Nike, and then Durex, and it just was going round and round. And so pretty much every company was going to be sponsoring AlphaTauri at some point, but it looks like we have finally got confirmation on who it is going to be.
Yes, Visa.
And
the
Cash
banking.
App.
Visa Cash App. Are they two different companies?
Yes.
Okay, right. So it was their Instagram handle, hasn't it? Has changed to, or was briefly changed, I don't know if it's still there, to Visa Cash App RB, as in Racing
I believe
Bulls.
It's still there. Let me just double check.
So it looks like at some point there's going to be a launch, probably 10 minutes after this goes live, that they've changed name officially to Visa Cash App Racing Bulls, which is possibly the worst name. It's up there with Kick F1 team Stake Sauber or whatever it is these days, but yeah, they're going to be known as AlphaTauri / Toro Rosso / Racing Bulls / Minardi. Who knows? But yeah, no one's going to call them Visa Cash App in the same way nobody calls Haas MoneyGram Haas F1 team. So it's a bit of a moot point, but there we go.
It has gone back.
Interesting. Maybe it's fallen through last minute. Could be back to Adidas.
It has officially, gone back to AlphaTauri now, which is a rather big surprise. I genuinely wasn't expecting that. But I'm sure, again, by the time the podcast has gone live, as you said, it's probably already been changed and confirmed and signed and sealed. But, I mean, it's... I mean, let's be fair, Visa have got a lot of money. Cash App make a lot of money in the US. Did you know, Jamie? I mean, actually, you've been to the US. I'm sure you should know this. That you can't just send money to someone in America.
Yeah, you can't. It all goes through third party, doesn't it?
It's bizarre. They have to use like PayPal or Cash App or something like this. Like,
there's no such thing as a bank
transfer.
transfer. That's why everyone uses cash over there. Or like, if you don't want to do it, you have to use cash.
So weird. So weird. But I mean, Visa obviously make a lot of money, basically on half of the transactions that ever happen in the world. Cash App make a lot of money because American banking system is stupid. But remember, it still controls the world. Ignore me as I go on a separate rant. But it feels almost... I mean, could you make the argument this is a direct battle with MoneyGram? Or... I don't know.
I mean, I guess they're similar. They're in the same sector, aren't they? But I don't think the CEOs of those companies are going to be like, which of our cars is going to win today? That will determine the share. But
well, I want to see MasterCard Lola back. That'll be the proper Visa rivalry.
That will be. Although, aren't they connected now, Visa and MasterCard?
No, they're still rivals.
Oh, are they? Well,
they're just the two dominant...
I could have sworn both those logos are on my bank card.
I'd hope not.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe I'll check. I should hold my card up to the camera. That's a great idea.
Yeah, do it. Can you read us the 3 numbers on the back whilst you're at it?
Yes. One of these podcasters is a former banker. So, and it's not me. But
I think you're insulting me there. You don't realise it.
That is true, isn't it? Have I made that up?
No, but just the connotations that are associated when you call someone a banker was kind of more what I was worried about there.
Well, I mean, only as your career. Which...
Yeah, okay. Shall we get into the meat of the episode today then, Jamie? Or
we should.
Would you like your quiz first?
Oh yeah, do the quiz first. Let's get it over and done with.
I think you're going to enjoy this one. It's one that it's similar vein to what we've done before on the show. But of course, we're still in the depths of winter, so I can't really relate it to real life. But I'm going to try. Okay. So, Jamie, you most likely will not know this, but it is the first round of the World Rally Championship this weekend.
Oh, I do not know that.
And where is the first round of the World Rally Championship always held? It's the most iconic rally of them all. It's the one they all want to win.
That's a very good question. Norway?
Norway. Norway doesn't have a World Rally.
I don't know. You're going to have to put me out of misery.
It's Monte Carlo, man. Come on. Rally Monte Carlo. It's massive. I'm looking forward to watching it this weekend. But of course, some of you might know this, some of you might not. But Formula 1 has actually held a race in Monaco prior to now.
No way.
A few races in Monaco prior to now.
I never knew that.
So, Jamie, your job, pretty simple. I think you know what's coming next.
I do. I think
You've got to go backwards, naming me every Monaco GP winner in order. If you get one wrong, you're out. I mean, this should be quite easy. Monaco wins are pretty iconic. I should be quite good at it.
I should do well, but I don't want to guarantee it. 2023.
I love doing these because most of the time
I just doubt myself in the modern
ones.
Your brain. I just doubt myself on the modern ones so bad.
It will be hilarious if you get like one of the first 5 years wrong.
Thing is, I know if I get through 23, I can go far. I just don't remember anything that happened in Monaco this year. No, I do. In fact, Max won 10 in a row. It was Max.
Yeah, of course it was Max.
Yes.
Alonso should have won. Had Aston
yes,
Martin
of course, it rained, didn't it?
It was actually a good Monaco Grand Prix.
22. It was Checo.
It was, because again it rained.
It did. And he only got ahead of Max in quali by Binnegate, didn't he?
So they claim.
21 was Verstappen, because Hamilton was a shocker. 2020 there was not a race, I believe.
Correct.
2019 was Hamilton.
Correct.
Holding off Verstappen and then claiming it to be a great win, even though it's Monaco, so he can't pass. 2018 was Danny Rick.
Yeah, redemption day for Danny Rick.
With half an engine, which actually was impressive, unlike Hamilton's. 2017.
Just remember, in 2019, Hamilton didn't even have a rock in his eye or something, or a pebble or something, so he only had one
earlier.
eye. I thought that was 19.
No, it was 14, I believe. 2017, that's what we're up to. Raikkonen was on pole, but then got overcut by his teammate, Sebastian Vettel.
Ferrari'd, yeah.
He won the race. 16 was... Oh, I almost got that wrong. It should have been Danny Rick, but it was actually Lewis Hamilton.
Correct.
15 was Nico Rosberg. Very deserved victory. 2014 was Nico Rosberg, another very deserved victory. 2013 was Nico Rosberg, which actually was deserved.
Yep, I'll give you that one.
2012 was Mark Webber.
Correct.
Schumacher got pole, and then because Senna weaved on him in Spain, he didn't get to keep it.
Well, Senna didn't weave on him in Spain. Michael just ran into the back of him, but yeah.
11, Seb Vettel.
Correct.
Should have been Button or Alonso, but then they red flagged it for no reason.
Yep.
10 was Mark Webber.
Correct.
Kubica on the podium.
Races. Yep. Kubica lined up P2, didn't he, that weekend?
He did. 09 was Jensen Button, who parked in the wrong place and had to run round.
Yep.
08 was possibly the luckiest win I've ever seen.
I'll behave.
With Lewis Hamilton. He binned it and got lucky strategy that paid off. 07 was Alonso in the McLaren.
One of the most boring races of all time.
Genuinely.
Even by Monaco standards. Watch that race back, people. We've said this so many times, haven't we?
Now.
2007 was the dumbest title fight I've ever seen. Because the amount of times Ferrari versus McLaren were nowhere near each other on pace.
It was just one of them would dominate.
Didn't they only not lap? Was it Massa? Because
P4.
Raikkonen started at the back, yeah.
No, so one of the Ferraris was third, and then Fisichella was fourth in the Renault, a minute and something off the pace, and like everyone else was lapped.
Well, no, Massa was pretty much a minute behind.
That was it, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. Sorry, where are we up to? 06?
7 we've just done, yeah.
Oh, 06 is interesting. Oh, no, it's not. Schumacher cheated in qualifying and got done for it. So it was surely Fernando Alonso.
It was, correct.
05. Is that one that... I might get this wrong. Because Raikkonen pulled up to his yacht in 06. Was it Kimi Raikkonen?
It was, correct.
There we go. 04 was Jarno Trulli in the Renault.
Correct.
In his only win of all time. 03? Yes. Schumi got taken out in the tunnel in 03. Because that was would have been made it 13. No, I'm thinking that was 04.
That was 04.
That was fortunate. This is a stab in the dark. Oh no, it's not. I think it's A. Williams. I think it was Montoya.
It was. I love the way it's a stab in the dark. No, it's not.
I remembered that I knew it, so that's okay.
Yeah, I remembered that I knew it.
02. This is almost before I'm born. So 2002. I'm just gonna guess it was probably Schumacher.
Incorrect.
Was it Barrichello?
Nope.
Oh really?
No.
Who was it?
I'll keep letting you guess, but you're all right.
Coulthard?
Yep.
Oh, fair enough.
Who?
DC.
Who?
David Coulthard.
No.
Oh. You just said yes.
Yeah, you're getting his name wrong. That's what's annoying me.
Am I?
Yeah. You say Coulthard.
What is it? Coulthard? Coulthard. No, it's not.
You don't say Coulthard, do you? We can't do a podcast anymore. This is an appalling.
We'll get him on the show and we'll see what he says.
Come on, David. David Coulthard, get on the show.
Coulthard, sorry. DC, it's way easier.
DC it is, yeah. Yeah, David Coulthard
Yeah.
won in 2002 and
And
2000.
00, didn't he?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I would have got much further than that.
Yeah, you did pretty well up to that point. You did pretty well.
Thank you.
I'll give you credit there. You got, I think that was 20 correct. So not a bad run.
Not bad.
A bad run.
Not bad.
Right, now it's time to get into the nitty gritty, isn't it, Jamie?
It is.
How are we going to do this?
Top down or bottom up? What do you want?
I reckon we go top down because I think that's probably less
Confusing.
surprising. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, things will start getting revealed far earlier than we were expecting them for some of our predictions. But basically, we're going to go through and we're going to predict where each of the 10 teams is going to finish in 2024. I mean, number one, I think, should be quite easy.
I trust that we've put them both in the same
We've
place.
put the same one. It's got to be Mercedes, hasn't it? Hamilton will start number 8. It's happening.
You almost said Ferrari and then stopped yourself because that's too ridiculous.
I did. I was too stupid, even for one of our
No,
shows.
it will be Red Bull.
It will be, yes.
I would put my house on it that I don't own.
So go on then, take out a loan for a mortgage and put that on it. Go on. Have a little bit of spice to this
I will
year.
not be doing that.
Fair enough.
But
yeah,
Red Bull,
I mean, they're
they're
gonna
gonna win the championship.
I hope it's not as dominant as last year, but I believe it will still probably.
I would
be
like to
dominant.
think we might get a fight for P2 because
What do you
Perez
mean?
is going to walk away with it in the drivers.
Perez is going to walk away with it. You've just said on this show, Sergio Perez
No.
is going to walk away with the world championship.
Verstappen. I'm going to put this in as a spoiler for late Feb when we do it for real. Verstappen P1.
Yeah.
I might put Perez a bit lower than second place.
Okay.
We'll see.
It'd be nice if, because like I said, I still get the impression that Red Bull will win both titles. But it would be nice if they won, say, less than 14 races this year. They'll
Yeah, it
probably
would.
win half the races still, but not loads more than half.
If a driver wins like 55% of the races, that's probably an okay season.
I think that's all we can really ask for at this point, isn't it?
Rather than like 88% or whatever it was this year.
Yeah, more than that, 90, wasn't it? Pretty much.
Yeah, what, 20 out of 22?
19 out of 22.
19 out of 22.
Yeah, you're pretty much
Yeah.
bang on, I think, with 88%. Right.
Ridiculous.
Let's skip that one then. That was pretty obvious.
Yep. Took that one
Who
off.
have you put in P2?
I was debating for a long time pre-show.
Because whenever we do this, for those of you, maybe our newer listeners, we always then do this where we go, I'm going to take a bit of a punt, and then we both put the same team.
Yes. So I was deliberating. Second, third, fourth, in my head, could be in any order, and I think it'll be very close. But
Okay.
I've stabbed in the dark and gone McLaren in second.
Oh!
You haven't done the same thing.
Yep.
I mean, my head says it'll be Mercedes, but my heart says it'll be McLaren.
The reason I put McLaren P2 is I think both Mercedes and Ferrari are trying new concepts this year. McLaren already had a very good concept last year by the end of the year. And now we always see McLaren bottle it in years gone by. They finish a year strong and then they fall off at the start of the next
And
year.
they finished in 17th in Bahrain.
What rule changes have we got between last and this season?
Next to nothing, have we?
Yeah, exactly. I think McLaren surely can't mess this up
I think-
badly.
From the Austria spec onwards, well, I guess Silverstone when both drivers had it,
Yeah.
they I don't know for sure, but I think they probably were second in the championship.
They
second.
were, easily. Lando was second in drivers after the
Yeah.
summer break.
So, like,
think,
if that
McLaren
carries
were
on-
consistent.
If that carries on, I think they probably will, certainly second after the season, had the second fastest car on average.
Yeah.
And I think both their drivers are excellent. I think Lando Norris is easily in my top 5 on the grid, and Oscar Piastri is not far off. So, yeah, I think that will lead them to finish in second place, which would be amazing return to form for them because they've not been that high since like 2012, probably even earlier than that. Probably
2010?
11
They
or
would have
10.
finished second,
Yeah,
I believe.
yeah, probably 2010.
2010, I think. Yeah, it would be a real turnout for the books, wouldn't it? Yeah, so I think I think McLaren, honestly, their biggest problem right now could be whether we end up in a rivalry between Oscar and Lando, whether egos get in the way. But of course, that will all be decided on the track as we move into the year, don't we? Who finishes P3 then, Jamie?
I feel like we probably got this the same because I've put Mercedes.
I have also put Mercedes.
I really hope we've not got the same top 10.
I was thinking, though, this would be the first time since 2012 that Mercedes has been beaten by a team that powers their car. That their car's power, sorry.
Yeah. Which is... They would be very disappointed by, I think. But it's just the uncertainty that Mercedes
and how much McLaren have rebuilt over the last couple of years, isn't it? You know, the new wind tunnel in Cologne as well. And
I genuinely think trajectory of driver performance over their short/long careers so far, overall, I put McLaren on a par with Mercedes in terms of driver ability.
Oh, no. Not quite.
I think it's very close. I think Hamilton's marginally better than Norris still, just.
Yeah.
And I think Piastri's on form, like over 2023, did a better job than Russell did.
I think it would be harsh to say George is on par with Oscar. I think he's still slightly better.
Well, we should see.
I think he's still a little bit better. I think both of Mercedes drivers are equally both better than their corresponding McLaren drivers.
I think it's very close.
Moment. But like we said, I think the only thing that kind of worries me is whether I don't think it'll be as bad, but whether we see a rehash of 2022 Mercedes, where they spend so long trying to make a new concept work, whether that just costs them too many points against a McLaren team that once they did get their act together last year, were pretty relentless.
Yeah, definitely. And I think I was close to putting Mercedes one lower, to be honest. But I just thought they haven't finished below the top 3 since 2012, so I couldn't bring myself to do it.
No, I think I can't see Mercedes dropping the ball that badly. P4 then, Jamie.
I've gone Ferrari to pick up.
I have gone Aston Martin.
Wow, really? Stroll is in that team.
Yeah, I have not factored that in. If ever there is a team in Formula 1 that can fumble the bag when there's no regulation changes, it's got to be Ferrari.
That's mad.
Think how badly they fell off. They started 2022 with a car that could fight for wins. They went through most of 2022 with a car that could fight for wins. They did just miss out narrowly on quite a few occasions. And then what happened in 2023?
Well, they were pretty mid. They were 4th best most of the time, or 3rd.
They were 4th or 3rd best most of the time. I can see Aston Martin, they finished the season quite strong last year.
I mean, they had a couple of good races. I don't think that's finishing strongly. I feel like Leclerc got 6 front rows in a row at the end of the season.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me wrong, Leclerc's still very good, and so Sainz. But I can see Ferrari next year spending the first half of the year with a dog poo car that they badly worked out, because it's Ferrari, and Sainz and Leclerc both having to drag it to results constantly. And, if you've got a Red Bull that's still got Verstappen at the helm, and Perez, whether he's going to do anything or not is a very different question. McLaren that were pretty good and sorted. Mercedes that I just don't see the way they can fumble like Ferrari can. And an Aston Martin with Alonso that might be able to rebuild and regroup again, that know what was wrong with the car throughout a lot of the second half of last year. I put Ferrari in 5th as kind of, I feel like the other 4 teams can do a better job.
I think they can, but I just think Aston were excellent for 8 or 9 races at the start of last season.
Yeah.
And then they went back to being a midfield team.
Not quite. There's no midfield. There's no midfield anymore, is there?
The midfield is just Alpine on their own last year.
Yeah.
And Aston went to fighting with them for a lot of the season.
Yeah.
And I just don't see how they're going to take that leap back to being consistently in the front pack again.
I mean, they did between 22 and 23.
They did.
And I think, like I said, they spent a lot of the second half of last year working out what went wrong with the car so they don't make the same mistakes again.
And I think Alonso's excellent, but I just think Stroll will drop the ball.
had forgot to factor in Stroll tax.
This is Constructors' Championship position, not like car pace position.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I couldn't drop Ferrari any lower than 4th. I actually almost put them above Mercedes, but I just think...
Fair enough. It's a big call from myself, but yeah, I can just see a world where Ferrari then being questioned how they went from fighting for wins in 22 to now scraping points and so many other teams doing a better job. I assume then you've put Aston Martin in 5th.
I have indeed. Okay. And I assume you've put Ferrari in 5th.
Oh, you already said that, yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, I think Aston will be still on the borderline of that front pack And certainly Alonso will be ruffling a few feathers. But
George ruffling a few of those
George
feathers.
Ruffle, exactly. I think similar to this season, really, or the season just gone, that the car pace will be there for him to kind of show his face on the podium occasionally and, annoy Mercedes and Ferrari drivers on a regular basis. But I just think Stroll will probably be more close with the Alpines than he will be with the Mercedes and Ferraris, and especially the McLarens and Red Bulls. So I couldn't put Aston Martin anywhere else, because I think the three teams just above them are going to be more quick and more consistent, and that's what makes
three teams in front are going to be more quick. Wise words from Jamie 183.
Faster cars and better duo of drivers.
I meant the fact that you said more quick rather than quicker. But,
yeah, I just started. I didn't know where my thoughts were going. But there we go.
Fair enough. P6 then, Jamie. You're going to like this one.
This was nailed on for me. I never had any doubt over who was going sixth.
Okay.
So I've put Alpine.
Okay.
I'm assuming you haven't. If you've, I bet you put Williams, haven't you?
I've put Williams.
Oh,
I want to believe in my boys down at Williams. I feel like Alpine are just in the middle of nowhere. And Williams took so much of last year's development into this year's car. They basically gave up pretty early on last year to focus on this year's car. They got Alex Albon at the helm. Yeah, I get it. Sargent's pretty poo. But I want to believe in my boys.
The amount of resource that Alpine have and have consistently put into their car over the last 5 years.
The amount of money that Williams want to put into their car, though.
Yeah, but they can't get near the cost cap.
No, but in terms of facilities and development and things like that.
But wishful planning doesn't make you a fast car.
No, but it does constitute... It battles against the idea of being French.
I would rather drive for Williams, but I think Alpine will have the better package this year.
I think it's going to be one of those ones where Alpine might have a slightly better package, but a bit like Williams did this year, they get the big results where it matters.
Yeah, but Alpine are going to be all right, aren't they? They're going to be like they were this year, where they're just kind of there. And Gasly and
Well, clearly I don't think so.
Well, you don't think so, but fair play. I do. So
fair enough.
Why have you put Williams where they're handicapped by one of their drivers in 6th place, beating 4 very good teams?
Because I reckon they'll be in a situation next year where more and more likely the top 5 teams will be the only ones scoring regularly, and Williams will just build a dragster again.
Yeah,
I reckon we're going to see Ferrari versus Williams, which I don't think we've ever really had that fight. No, we're not quite that bad. I mean, on like occasions where Ferrari has a poor weekend and Williams have a good weekend.
I can see all of the drivers in the top 6 that I've put getting podiums again.
Really?
Apart from Stroll, like they were this season.
Yeah, of course. Stroll, he was the only one in those top 6 teams that didn't get a podium, wasn't he?
Yes, and Gasly got 2, the baller.
Did he? Oh, a podium in a sprint don't count.
Still P3 in it.
Well, Oscar Piastri then is a Grand Prix winner by that logic.
Well, he's not a Grand Prix winner. He's a race winner.
Right.
But he's not a Grand Prix winner. Get your terminology right.
Right. So I put Alpine in 7th then. Did you put Williams there, I assume?
I actually didn't.
Oh, okay.
I'm not hating Williams that badly, but
no?
I put Racing Bulls in P7.
Interesting.
Or whatever name they're called, Visa Cash App, who cares? Just based on the end of the season, to be honest. And I think they've got an overall better driver lineup than Williams have. And I think the car pace towards the end of the season, they were consistently getting like P7s, or had the potential of P7s until stuff went wrong. So
they have 2 weekends where that looked possible.
And Tsunoda should have done way more. Like Singapore should have finished there until everything went wrong. So
he got screwed, didn't he?
Mm. And I think by the end of the season you'll have Lawson back in the car, which would be nice because he's a very solid driver.
You said Tsunoda should have finished P7 in Singapore.
Well, he should have done.
Didn't he get his race absolutely destroyed on lap 1?
Well, he got destroyed in qualifying by the Red Bulls.
By Red Bull, yeah.
And then it got even worsely destroyed on lap 1. So.
Well, he was out on lap 1.
Yeah, he was. But he had the potential to qualify and finish in the top.
No, I know what you're saying.
So yeah, I think by the end of the season you'll have Tsunoda and Lawson in that car, and Ricciardo will be driving for Red Bull. So
is Perez in all of this? Has he replaced Hulkenberg at Haas?
Back in South America, probably, where Helmut Marko thinks he lives.
Marko thinks, or is he getting ready to learn Chinese?
So, yeah, I think it's a good time to be driving for Minardi, or whatever they're called.
Minardi V5.
Yeah, so I think, Racing Bulls P7, which is, if you take the second half of the season, that's probably where they finished, right?
No.
It would be close.
Williams
Certainly if you take
still,
the last 6 races.
Yeah, but that's just because Mexico.
And they were trying to get P7, so Red Bull just handed them all their parts, which might happen again.
Well, that's what they're doing for this year. That was what I was going to
exactly.
say.
So we could see him finish 3rd if they've got a 2023 Red Bull. 2024 grid.
AlphaTauri just 2nd behind Red Bull all year. Imagine that. Imagine they got in the fight with McLaren and Mercedes.
Well, that's how
just rock up with last year's Red Bull.
That's how Haas was so good in 2018, wasn't it? Because you had a 2017 Ferrari was still finishing 5th or 6th place.
Yeah, wild. I mean, yeah, I've put AlphaTauri down in 8th though, which
okay.
I just feel like again it's going to be an absolute just dog awful fight for P6 because the top 5 teams keep scoring points everywhere.
Yeah.
Apart from Stroll.
Similar to the,
who can
finish
get
10th
place. Yeah. Is it Stroll or is it someone who's actually trying?
Yeah, I can see what you mean. And it reminds me, like, you kind of had this back in the late 2000s, didn't you? Where there'd be McLaren, Ferrari, BMW, and Renault / somebody else would usually be the top 8, and that was it for the points. And you had
Renault and Toyota, yeah.
You had the Red Bulls or the Williams.
And Toyota.
Yeah. You had proper okay teams that could barely score points all season. And that meant a lucky podium here would just vault you up the championship.
Like Nelson Piquet at the 2008 German Grand Prix. Happy that didn't lead to any bad strategy choices by Renault in the long term, did it?
He almost won that race by complete fluke. That's what inspired them to do Singapore.
Exactly.
Yes. I could see what you mean though. Like, especially the bottom 4. I think for me, Alpine will be the team finishing 9th and 10th quite regularly, and then the bottom 4 will be scrapping like they were this year.
I mean, yeah, I think obviously I don't know if you've seen this yesterday, but AlphaTauri, there was some news coming out by someone fairly high up in the team that reckons the current model for AlphaTauri means they won't bring on rookies anymore. Right. So I think that team is getting sold.
What's the point of a Red Bull B team that isn't bringing in rookies?
Exactly. Well, the only reason I can think of is he's getting sold.
Yeah, surely. Well, there you go.
Could we end up in we said this, didn't we, when the budget cap came in? Could it be long before, a Mercedes, a Ferrari, obviously Red Bull already had, but with that team gets sold, where they just start spending like the 130 million they've saved each year on a second team?
Well, they could. There's no reason why not. And I don't think it'd be a particularly bad thing, really.
No.
Like, I think they've said 13 would be the most teams on the grid.
Yeah, it's the most Formula 1 will allow.
The most they allow on the current Concord agreement, isn't it? But
no, it's track regulation safety as well. I think it's the most they can have.
Why is there 30 F3 cars then?
Because the Formula 3 cars only race pretty much on the circuits that are suited to the tracks that can host more than 26 Formula 1 cars.
Fair enough.
And Monaco.
And Monaco, yeah. That's great. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. I think those bottom 4 teams are going to be struggling. But P8, I've said I put Williams there. You've put AlphaTauri there, haven't you?
I put AlphaTauri there. So it does just leave us then with 2 teams at the back of the field still.
It does. And the same 2 teams. I wonder if we've got them in the same order.
Well, who's in 9th for you, Jamie? 183?
I, in 9th, have the Stake Formula 1 team Kick Sauber.
We have not done it in the same order.
Okay, I wonder why.
There's one word and one sentence and one sentence only. And no, one word. It is one word. Eggery.
Right. So you think Sauber better than Haas?
Yeah, but it's just going to be one horrible result that gives Haas it overall.
I mean,
it's going to be pure egg.
To be fair, I don't really care who finishes 9th or 10th out of these 2 teams because I like one of the drivers in both the teams. So
Bottas and Magnussen.
No, definitely. They're such dead drivers. Who would be a fan of those 2?
Bottas is still beating Zhou. How can you not claim Zhou's a dead Formula 1 driver? It took 3 years in Formula 2 to not win it.
He's all right. He's got style.
He's just a copy Hamilton. I love Zhou Guan Yu.
I think Sauber will have the faster car. I think. I mean, it's pot luck. Neither of these teams are going to be scoring regularly, but I just trust Sauber to make a better car than Haas. Perfectly honest.
Well, like I said, so do I. But I just think, like I said, it's going to be pure eggery. I think Haas will get like 10th place or something. It'll be like Haas will get a
Hulk P7 back in
Haas will get a 10th place somewhere, and then Alfa Romeo will finish with like 8 P11s or something like that.
Did you know that? I mean, I need to get the stat right. I think 5 out of the last 6 Australian Grand Prix that Hulkenberg has entered, he's finished P7.
That is almost interesting.
So announce P7 in the 10th fastest car, like it was this year.
Oh, BA. It wasn't the 10th fastest car. BA, man.
It wasn't at that point, definitely.
No. Never forget Albon threw away massive points for Williams.
He did.
There.
He's a fraud.
Especially with the way that race went on. That could have been a massive result for Williams. But
well, Hulk should have had a podium that race, but the FIA forgot to count.
That is, I mean, my favourite bit always about that will still just
Stroll
be
driving into the gravel.
Stroll seeing all that chaos at turn 1, being running in good positions, to just throwing it away. And it wasn't even 5 laps later when it's had time to sink in. It was instantly.
It was the next corner.
Literally the very next corner, he just locked up.
And he was running
straight
third.
Off. Yeah, he was going to get a podium.
Yeah, unlucky Lance. But there you
Unlucky? Lack of talent?
Well, yeah, lucky his talent ran out. So there you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, so do you think either team or both teams will score points?
I reckon... I'm going to say what will happen is it'll be like a race of attrition somewhere, and Haas will finish P9 and Alfa Romeo will finish P10. So every team again will score points, but it will just be Haas finish ahead of them somehow.
Yeah,
and it'll be Magnussen that scores.
No, it won't. I think Bottas will probably beat Joe again, which probably spells the end of his Alfa Romeo career.
I think, it wouldn't surprise me if both Alfa Romeo drivers are gone by the end of the year.
No, it wouldn't surprise me either. But I think Hulk will have the measure of Magnussen again. And it's probably K-Mag's last year in F1.
I mean, it might well be Hulk's as well.
I doubt it.
There's too many contracts coming to an end next
year. I think
year.
Haas have learned.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I suppose Haas
don't.
Yeah, but Haas also never want to change either of their drivers. Think how many years they kept Grosjean and Magnussen together, just stinking it up. Just doing nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
People forget in 2019 we go on about how bad that Williams was. That Haas was pretty awful as well.
Yeah, we drove it in AOR.
We did. And
That's why we didn't win the championship.
Did we drive it to a constructors?
No, we didn't.
Did we not? I thought we did.
We should have. We did.
Didn't we? Who did we lose to?
Luke in the Ferrari. Luke and Schwiz.
Oh yeah, man, you were so bad as a teammate.
You gave up. You should have won the title.
I couldn't in the end, but yeah, we've gone very off topic there.
We have.
I mean, we could just do a rambles podcast about our old time league racing together.
We should. And how I beat you in my first and third races.
I was going to say, you only beat me because I had 3 punctures instead of 2 Grand Prix, but there we are. I mean, we're going very off topic there. Have we got anything else to talk about?
I'm not sure. I'll just give a quick browse of Twitter, make sure that no news has dropped.
No news. Well, we better just have 30 minutes of blank dead time because something will get confirmed.
Not that I can see.
Nothing has happened in the Twitter sphere.
Announce
Wonderful.
Tuesday at 5 p.m. something mad happens.
Well, let's just put it on the record that we are finishing filming at 8 minutes past 5. So when something gets announced at 5:15, then you'll know just how cursed this show really is. But thank you as always so much to everyone for listening. If you have enjoyed, please do drop us a follow. Jamie, as always, it has been a pleasure.
As always.
Good job remembering Monaco. And we'll be back then. I think next week will be the final one. We don't have any cars to talk about. Although I'm sure by then Haas will have revealed their car out of nowhere. But yeah, thank you all as always. And we'll be back very soon with more Knowing Wheel.